What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the G Show, where we review and analyze the New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax. Of course, we're in the 30th edition of the G1 Climax this year, and it is over. It is in the books. We have watched every single show, and we are here with our final wrap-up of the G1 tournament. I'm here with Cyrus. What's going on, Cyrus? We made it across the hump of the G1. We did it.
Yeah, we did it. But, what's funny is that, we watched, every single match in this G1. And then as soon as it came to the final show, we were just like, no, we're not watching all these tag matches. Absolutely not.
Not going to lie to you. Skipped right through them, went right to the main event. It just made it a lot easier on my life to do so. Of course, we're coming to you. My bad. We're sorry. We were coming to you a day later, obviously. But, because the show is going to be maybe a little bit lengthier, but we have a lot of things to talk about. We have, a state of New Japan conversation, like we did last year, where we talk about, kind of the storylines that are going into Wrestle Kingdom in a little bit under 3 months here from the Tokyo Dome. It was announced, of course, a big announcement over the weekend that Wrestle Kingdom will be 2 days again this year. How did you feel about that, Cyrus?
I'm excited. It's really cool. I don't know how long they're going to stick with this format, but as long as Naito is double champion, they kind of have to. We have to find ways to get that bet off him. Yeah,
I like it for the simple fact that, obviously, if people could travel, there was a tourism reason why it was 2 days, and I thought that was a cool idea. But also just the fact that having it 2 days allows us to get everyone on the card. Now, here's the funny part about it. It is 2 nights this year. And from what we know right now, the roster is what it is. The roster isn't really big enough for 2 nights. So one thing, and this is something we'll talk about, I guess, a little bit later when we talk about the Power Struggle card, is that there is the opportunity or the possibility that it will open up maybe Stardom being on the show proper this year, or maybe we'll start getting the Gaijin coming back, such as a Chris Jericho or a Jon Moxley coming back to New Japan in January to help make these cards a little bit bigger. And we'll talk about why we think this could be a possibility a little bit later in the show. But of course, we got to run through the final nights of the G1 really, really quickly before we go to the finals. These were really contentious, down to the wire shows. All the way to night 17 all the way through. It was very much down to the wire.
Yeah, for the most part, it kind of just Ibushi kind of just snuck out a win. Or not even snuck out, because like you said when we were texting, he's always been at least top 3 in the ranking. But I was watching the show and I was just oh man, Ibushi won in a really good match, and then damn, Jay White lost, and then you just text back, Ibushi wins.
Yeah, and that was the idea there from all the way on through to from night 18 where not night 18 but night 17 where you had these matches, and like I said, right before we left off last time, this was going to determine it was a shootout. So I liked the actual framing of night 17. I thought it was a solid show, but you had it from the beginning. You had Yujiro picking up his first win, which put Ospreay back into contention. But then you had Shingo and Suzuki, who had a banger. Then you had Okada and Ospreay, which had a very big storyline thing that was right smack dab in the middle of the show.
Really good match. I think this is one of Ospreay's best matches, but the storyline stuff is what's bigger. So
yeah, and of course you had Ospreay looking to turn heel here against Okada. Bea Priestley came out, as well as the great Okan, who used to be a young lion, went off for excursion, and is now back in this new team, which it seems to be called what they call it? Is it the Empire or something like that? I believe. Yeah, I think it's the Empire or something like that. What do you feel about this team so far?
We'll just have to see how good on is. I just took a quick peek at his wiki and his cage match. He's a multi-time tag team champion with Rampage Brown. I'm familiar with Rampage Brown from WCPW. He's a really cool wrestler, and I think he did a little stuff with Impact. But I'm on a wait and see. But as far as Ospreay and B Priestley involvement in it, it's cool that you got your queen a bag. But what is she gonna do? Because it's not like she can technically get involved. You know, like New Japan doesn't really like let the women like valets sort of get involved. So I'm waiting to see the extent of her involvement in this faction.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's wait and see, but I did like Okada in the next night on the finals actually have some urgency in being upset that Ospreay had turned on him, and I think this is a much better storyline than the one we got in the G1. Okada wasn't even close, I think, to even winning the G1 this year. Neither was Tanahashi to win the G1.
And that's okay. There's been 3 years of them being like really close to winning it all, But I think do you think they're gonna continue this Okada thing where he's trying not to be the Rainmaker, and then possibly at Wrestle Kingdom he just beheads Ospreay with a Rainmaker?
I think that's the idea, and you know how I feel about it. It's the Jay White thing where they go against the top name New Japan star, and they have a lot of heat going into it, and they end up losing. I mean, I think that this is naturally this is the direction for Okada for Wrestle Kingdom, and I'm not mad at that. I think they're going to have a banger, given that they get time. This could main event night one, realistically. Sure. But I mean, this is something that I think they got to build up to. And Ospreay, who already we should have seen the heel turn coming, just the way how cocky he was acting throughout the whole G1. We even said it the announcer saying, I love you, you're great, you're the best, I need you, I want you, and I was just that's kind of weird. Faces don't really kind of revel and things like that, but we should have seen it coming. But that's why I thought it was cool.
I didn't see it coming because Okada was just, Ospreay was just you've been holding me back. Is he just referring to Okada not laying down when they had the championship match for the the championship match for the title? I'm truly confused on what he truly meant there, but it is what it is.
Yeah, we'll see. So throughout night 17, you also had Ibushi versus Taichi, where Ibushi picked up his final win there in a match with Taichi. And then right at the end, the main event, Jay White versus Ishii. Jay White had this all but locked up. All he needed to do was win.
Yeah.
which slid Ibushi into that slot. I got to say, I did enjoy this way more than Tanahashi loses his first two matches and then goes undefeated for the rest of the block, or Okada does the same. I kind of like this way they did this a lot better because it actually forced us to kind of look at the numbers and be like, okay, there's realistically 3 people that could do this, but how will they, how will they come out on top?
Yeah. This is much better with the losses being sprinkled around rather than just losing streak at the beginning or losing streak towards the end. Yeah. So booking around Jay White has been played really smart. Yeah.
So night 18 of the G1, really a 2-match show. There wasn't really much that there a lot of people could do. It was really down to those 3. Like I said, it was down to Sonata, Evil, and Naito. And of course, Naito does lose to Kenta. Weird, right?
I was truly puzzled. They possibly could have just went to a draw, and Naito would have still lost. But it is what it is. I guess they just need to line stuff up for towards the road to Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, I think he needed a solid loss here because Sonata needed the points to. Well, actually, no. Sonata would have ended up with as many points as Naito. He just would have had the tiebreaker, and Naito would have still lost on tiebreakers. It was a weird.
I would have liked that. I would have liked that.
Block B was a little more convoluted in the way that they did the standings right to it. It really literally did come down to the final match of B Block there, which had Evil and Sonata have a match. I thought it was.
Oh, go ahead.
I thought it was not the best match. It was kind of
In in this whole tournament where these two are having the most mid matches, they have their best match together, which I thought was like really, really weird. I
just thought it was too long. 27 minutes is way too long, and it was the idea of like, again, New Japan trying to make epic matches just for the sake of being epic. This didn't feel epic to me at all. It felt like a regular ass match.
Yeah, it did feel like a regular ass match to me, to the point where I didn't feel the length of it, honestly. So that I think that's why I'm kind of positive on it. Like watching it, I didn't think like, damn man, this should have been longer than 15 minutes, and it's only been like 10. But I thought this was definitely like one of their best matches, and this is probably one of the highlight matches of night 18.
Yeah, I went 2 stars on that, so I can't
really?
say. I hated this. It was like a minute and 2 minutes of stalling in the end, in the beginning. I think Evil's shtick does not lend himself well to 30-minute matches.
It doesn't.
He's kind of like Bray Wyatt in that sense, where it's like Bray Wyatt matches go really good.
Man, you're so right, because I was thinking that comparison when we were watching this, because I was just like, man, this is big dude. Kind of all gimmick, not it in the ring. Yeah, that's a Bray Wyatt.
When the bell rings for Evil, it's over. It's definitely like it's like I can't even think of a time where I've been like, bro, like, I gotta watch the Evil match. But if they keep the match short and keep the interference light, then he does end up having good matches. And he's shown flashes even throughout here. Some of his undercard non-main event matches, they've been okay. But with the top guys, he's not even able to have a match with Sonata. That's an issue.
Yes, truly a big issue. And you remember when I texted you a couple weeks ago and I was just like, was LIJ ever fire? Because Sonata and Evil just aren't like it. So like, were they even?
It was the look. It was the look.
Yeah, and my friend asked me the same thing. I was just like, was LIJ ever truly good? And I was just like, Naito just shined so bright that it didn't matter. And then Hamaru came in, and then Shingo came in, and then you could just push all that bad shit towards the back.
I'd say just break them up. There's too many damn stables, and now we're about to get another one. So like, there's way too many stables. Like, chaos is still a thing, and I cannot believe it. Like, these characters could not be so much different from each other than they are now.
Taguchi Japan is a thing. We haven't seen Taguchi in like years.
Like, it's wild. But Sonata did win the B block, and then we go into the finals with Sonata versus Evil. I mean, not Sonata versus Kota Ibushi. Sorry, that would have been terrible. So how do you feel about this match? I think that of any 2 pairings that you could have gone with, you went with the 2 people in this whole tournament that have the least amount of chemistry between the 2. But strangely enough, the one guy that could take a loss right now and it not hurt him.
I honestly, when you say that, I'm just like, man, I sure wish Goto was here instead. But yeah, I saw a lot of people excited for this match, and I was just like, I envy the hell out of you guys, because in their matchups, they have had 0 good matches.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say this match is good. I would say it's tolerable, because there isn't like the weird skull end drag to the runway, paradise lock or whatever bullshit, or like a huge botch off any of their moonsaults or anything like that. This match is tolerable at best, because Sonata doesn't do his thing where it's just a bunch of skull ends for like a total of 8 minutes throughout the whole match.
Oh my God. It was really crazy that I looked at 16-minute mark, and that was the first time any of them went for a pinfall.
Yeah, they were just like doing holds, and I complained about it, and they were just like, that's just New Japan. I was just like, sometimes it's not. It doesn't have to be this. And Kota didn't even go into his 8-ball mode. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's the like when he gets there, that's when like his matches like really excel, and it just wasn't it. I wish Goto was well, and I wish they liked Goto to even put him in that position with Kota Ibushi, because I feel like we would have probably gotten like a much better match or a much better final.
It's a shame that he would, he probably was too injured to do so. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it was like, again, I understand why Sonata was in this position. He is the one person that could take this loss, and he could always hang his hat on the fact that he made it to the finals. But Kota Ibushi wins again. He's now been to the he's won the G1 twice in a row, back to back.
Yeah,
that's like some Tanahashi Okada shit. That's some rarefied air there.
That soon as he signed on the dotted line, they say, yeah, give him everything.
Yeah.
But he now has him and Tanahashi are due for a tag team title match if they want to do so. What else?
I mean, there's that. I think they got to get the belts off of them first.
Kota beat Suzuki?
Yeah.
Okay, so he has a never open title match, and then he has.
He's not going for that shit. He's not going for any of that shit.
I'm just saying.
He's got the briefcase. He doesn't need that shit. And the thing is, it's funny, and we were talking about this that Kota actually like pretty much beat everyone on the G1. Like he like if like in the end he had like the strongest the strongest numbers out of anyone in in that block. He went 7-2. And it's like I don't even know how we didn't notice that he was like right there, and he had like the most wins out of everyone. Like we should have seen this one coming, that he was going to win this, but we were so stuck on Jay White. And one thing that was interesting was that there was nothing that came out of the Jay White and Evil stuff. I thought that they were going to really kind of pull the trigger.
Right. What's up with that? And then I believe Kenta and Evil were in a tag match as well, like teaming up together, and they just did nothing with that. So, amen. We championing New Japan for their storylines when they can't even like follow up at the finals. Oh, y'all boys crazy, bro.
Yeah, I get the slow burn. I get it. I get the slow burn, but
Absolutely doing nothing when two people are in the same room is like insane to me.
I still feel as though Jay White and Evil is the direction for Wrestle Kingdom for them. I really do. I really still feel as though that might be the direction, but in the end, the way they get there is interesting because there aren't that many shows, so they have to do it technically at Power Struggle. If they were to do that, that would have to be the moment where that pops off, because that would imagine Power Struggle is where you get if there's some Americans that are going to be there. Because you got to finally give Kenta his title shot, or Kenta or Tanahashi their title shot, depending on who wins their match at Power Struggle.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure where they would go there. But again, Kota Ibushi, what can we say? Like, let's just kind of give our overall thoughts on the tournament before we go ahead and look ahead at the future for New Japan. I honestly thought this was strong. It was stronger than last year's tournament. I thought there were way more good matches. Like we had a list of matches. It hit about almost like the 15-20 mark. Of matches that we had, to a point where, and we never do this, you and I actually had a conversation and an argument about what matches should stay.
And it was over a very unlikely participant in the tournament. We fought over Taichi matches, which we both thought they were good, just like, but as a top 10 was kind of insane. And I get that part, but those matches are really good. Taichi's matches with Kota Ibushi, I just thought it was really different, even though they're just like kicking the shit out of each other for like 10 minutes straight. I just thought that was
a match that I saw people either really hate or really love. And I was on the other end and you were on the other end. And I think that proved that like you're either going to love it or hate it. And I didn't like that match at all.
I just thought it was like very interesting, because the match that Kota Ibushi has with Suzuki it's kind of just like all strikes, like all forearm strikes. And then it was just like, all right, now we're just going to get these two kickers really just like killing each other. Strictly kicks, nothing but big kicks here. And I thought that was really cool. And then also the Shingo and Taichi match is something that was just like, But I just thought it was cool that they were just like, they were using each other's moves. Like that was a like little sprinkle to the match. And the one with Jay White was really cool as well because they were just like mirroring each other because they're both heels. So.
Yeah, again, like there was a lot of strong, and the thing that was like the most, promising for me was that we got to see some character stuff. We got to see a lot of character stuff. We got to see a lot of storylines being built in a non-New Japan way, non-traditional way that they would usually build storylines. You had the Bullet Club implosion that was happening. You had Ospreay in his turn. You had Kenta even being like, hey, is this even, is Bullet Club even kind of like where I want to right now? You had Ishii trying, going for respect. You had Jeff Cobb going for respect. You had Suzuki, who was kind of in his old man role. He took a lot of L's this year. You had a lot of people that were kind of going through their own storyline things, and I thought that it was really strong. And I mean, I would be remiss not to mention Yoshihashi's storyline throughout the G1 as well.
Yeah, not high on his matches, but showing that he has the grit and the strength to stay in the fight is really good stuff. Even though they just like went on too long, maybe he can show a little less grit.
But yeah, to me, I overall, I would highly recommend this G1. G1 29 was not my best G1, but I'd highly recommend it. It's the best G1 in years, but not the best G1. I've seen a couple people saying this is the best G1. Let's calm down.
Just a high of New Japan, like we were when we came in. Like we were so excited to the point we were just like, hey man, B Block might be amazing.
And yeah, it suffered from. It really did suffer from a lot of the same issues that we always see with G1s. Overblown main events and even overblown mid-card matches that were just kind of like, this is going for way too long. Yeah. I will commend them for the length of the shows. I will commend them for having less tag matches. I will commend them for, giving us breaks in between. This is a schedule that I think they really should follow throughout the year, of giving us these 1 and 2 day breaks. And usually we get a 1 day break in G1. This year, I think we had what one break was like 3 days this year. I was like, this is beautiful.
So amazing. like they should seriously like just keep this format. Like you can keep the two night Wrestle Kingdom, keep the short G1 with breaks. Even outside of the pandemic, I think we would see a lot less injuries, even though like Goto got injured. But like, we'll see a lot of less wear and tear and a lot of less fatigue from, just the fans in general. Yep.
So let's go on and move to Power Struggle. That is going to come to that's going to come on November 7th here, and it's quite a card, Cyrus. I'm not going to lie to you. I think we should definitely look at this card and review it, because I think it's going to be really strong. It's going to come to us from the Edion Arena in Osaka. You have Toriano versus Zack Sabre Jr. in kind of like an opening card match. You have Suzuki versus Shingo for the Never Openweight Championship. You have Okada versus Great Okan. You have the contract match between Kenta and Tanahashi that I kind of hinted at a little bit earlier. And you have a contract match with Kota Ibushi versus Jay White for the G1 winner contract as well. And of course, at the main event, you have Naito versus Evil, with Naito looking to get his win back and to defend his Intercontinental and Heavyweight Championships. This is a strong card, Cyrus. I'm not gonna lie to
you. It is a strong card, but there's some matches that I'm just like, oh, we'll see, which is like the Okada and Great Okan and Evil and Naito match. Well, also the Ospreay match. Like, I want to see what his new heel offense is now.
Well, he's not on the card. Oh, he's not on the
card. Who'd you say that was?
It's Ibushi and Jay White.
No, who was the first match you listed? It wasn't Ishii.
Zack Sabre Jr. and Yano.
Oh, yeah. Why are we getting that? Sorry, I don't know why you said Ospreay, but my fault.
It's the King of Pro Wrestling 2020 thing. Remember the old the thing that they were starting
summer
where they
wave thing.
yeah, the weird rules and stuff like that. It's going to be one of those matches. Their WWE Sports Entertainment shit. That's basically
the sports entertainment title. Okay,
yes.
Or championship. Okay, whatever. They can fight over that.
We have a lot of possible storyline stuff happening between, I think, the Okada match, the Kenta and Tanahashi match, and the Kota Ibushi Jay White thing. Because I think if Jay White loses the contract match, which I think he will, that would lead to either a frustration with Evil or something like that, or him wanting to exert his dominance in that storyline starting off properly. But I think the most interesting part, obviously, is the Kenta versus Tanahashi thing. I was thinking Kenta was going to go right back to the United States and possibly see Moxley down the road, since AEW is letting him do all types of dates. But the Tanahashi thing is interesting here because we could potentially get Tanahashi and Moxley at Wrestle Kingdom or even earlier than that.
I think that would be interesting. I think that would be a lot better than the match that you have with Jericho. And I don't know if that truly opens the door for the AEW collab thing, even though Cody was just like, we don't want to do a joint show. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, I don't think that would be looked at as a joint show, because if we remember, Moxley is kind of like a contracted New Japan talent as well. So in New Japan, he's a different character than he is on AEW. So that would just kind of be the attraction match. But could we potentially be looking at a Kenta or a Tanahashi versus Moxley match in January?
That would be cool. I would love to see it happen. Hopefully, he can still squeeze, just find a way to get out of the States to get there. I don't know how travel is truly looking.
If Kenta and Jay White got there, so I think it's definitely a possibility. Like, 'cause, I mean, Jay White lives here, Kenta lives here. So, I mean, again, like, there's definitely the travel's opened up. I think if you want to get the belt off of Moxley, they go to Old Faithful, right? Every single time they go to Old Faithful, and that's Tanahashi. That would be the match book.
So, I this doesn't sound like something New Japan would like ever do, but let's say Moxley can't go to Japan, but Kenta or Tanahashi can come to the States.
Right.
Do you think that Moxley would just like go to their LA dojo, have the match there, and then possibly like air it at Wrestle Kingdom? That doesn't seem like a thing that would like truly do.
Yeah, I think that's it doesn't. But then in this COVID era, a lot of things that I never thought that they would do, they've been doing. You know, so anything is possible. I wouldn't put that out the realm of possibility, honestly. And I think it sounds like a great idea. You want to get the belt off of Moxley, ideally, if they want to push this title on their shows again, because Moxley more than likely won't be able to make every date, and he's probably not going to be able to be at the dojo. Like, if they were to do a cinematic match, that would be
so like, it won't be live, so it won't breach the AEW contract thing. Like, it won't be aired on TV or whatever. So why not?
Yeah, I think that's actually a great idea. But I think all intents and purposes, they really want him to be there live. But if they can't get him there live, definitely just do the match anyway. You got to get that belt has been inactive for the whole year, pretty much. And Moxley's doing really well in AEW. He's their champion. He's going on a year, I think, right? In a couple months of being the champ. So, like, again, like, you want to make sure that he still has that, he's able, storyline wise, to do things that make sense with AEW, but still be able to kind of fulfill his commitment to New Japan as well. But to me, if there was anything I'm watching out for and I'm really interested in on Power Struggle, it is going to be that Tanahashi match. It's going to be the Ibushi match, and it's going to be really the outcome of what happens between Naito and Evil. If Evil and Jay White both take L's on that night, I would be watching very closely to what happens at the end of the night at Power Struggle on the 7th.
Yeah.
So looking to the future, I mean, I think we could pretty much guess what the Wrestle Kingdom directions are. I would imagine Kota Ibushi and Tanahashi would have to drop. I think that they're still the tag champions, right?
No, it's Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi.
Okay, so they don't have to worry about. I guess that's why they drop the titles. But obviously, we're going to get Kota Ibushi and Naito. We don't know if they're going to do that weird tournament thing again, which I pray to God that they don't do that. Do not screw Ibushi over again with that shit. Just do the match straight. or just have Naito defend on both nights. Have Naito defend the Intercontinental one against someone, and then have him defend the heavyweight, and have Ibushi choose which one he wants.
He should definitely go for the heavyweight, right?
I think he should. I don't think he has that much CTE yet.
The thing with Wrestle Kingdom being double nights now, and Naito is going to possibly lose one of those titles, and I think he will end up losing the heavyweight title.
Wow, I think that's a good idea.
The IC title has been like ingrained into his like career. Like the IC title is like part of him. So yeah, it's just like.
So you think he'll keep the IC and drop the heavyweight?
Mm-hmm.
Because he needs to lose both. I'm not gonna lie to you. He needs to lose both belts at this point. Like
really,
his whole run, Cyrus, has been snake bit. It's been a cool experiment, but it's over. He got his run. He got his Tokyo Dome win right before COVID. He did everything he could do.
I definitely think they should just like cut the double championship. Like just like let's stop it. They already booked it terribly with him not like defending both titles individually. But like I said, like the IC title is like so ingrained into his career. I think he might like lose it at a later front. Like possibly when Ospreay goes over the hump that is Okada, maybe he goes for the IC title.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways you could go with that. I agree with Naito having the title, but wouldn't it be cool if they slid the IC title to Shingo and have a LIJ, and then have him lose to Kota?
That I would like to see Shingo with the IC title. But
that would mean,
how do we get there?
That would mean they'd have to do that tournament thing again.
Okay.
So that would put Shingo in the pool, and I mean that would be cool if they went with the people that had like maybe the most points or the runner ups of the G1, and then that was the people that were determined to be in the tournaments or whatever.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. I'd like it.
But as it stands right now, they want us to keep going with this Evil and Naito feud. I'm hoping this wraps up on the 7th as well.
I pray this wraps up by the time World Tag League starts.
Oh yeah, and of course World Tag League, and you know that's going to be happening in November as well. That's going in tandem with the Super Junior tournament as well. So that's going to be really interesting to watch. First year without Will Ospreay in it, so they're going to have to be pushing. Yeah, it's going to be pushing a lot. I see Takahashi winning. I see Hiromu winning this one. So I have no doubt he's going to win.
It's either Hiromu or Sho, because those are the only two that I've seen them truly get behind.
Yeah, and no outsiders coming in this year as well. So I mean, other than Ospreay, there isn't anyone else new. There's Yujiro, no Dragon Lee this year. It seems like he's WWE bound. So like there's a lot of people that just aren't going to be there like this year.
Speaking of the WWE bound, how do you feel about Jay White possibly being WWE bound?
You want to hear my theory?
Yeah.
You want to hear my theory? Because there's been a quiet ever since Kyle O'Reilly's quotes in that interview on the bump 3 weeks ago, there's been a quiet conversation about Jay White's contract and like where he could end up in the next year or imminently, very, sooner than that, within the next 6 months. I don't think it's a stretch to think that him not winning the G1. I don't think it's a stretch to think that him having the Bullet Club feud happen right now and potentially being excommunicated could be a way for him to be out. I wouldn't be shocked if that was a way for him to get out, is for him to get eliminated from the Bullet Club and then him to go. WWE has been still signing people. We saw Ben Carter go over there as well. If they wanted to do something with Jay White, he already lives in the United States. It's not like a big stretch for him to just get over there. NXT needs that next big one. After Karrion Kross, who's a heel after Finn Balor, who again is a tweener after Kyle O'Reilly, who wants to work with Jay White after Adam Cole leaves, and we know that's happening. Who's going to be their next one? Jay White low key works the style in the terms of how he plays to the crowd anyway. Why? I mean, he is a good fit. I don't think he's a bad fit for New Japan. I think he's a great fit for American wrestling in general, whether it be AEW or WWE. If they were to bring out the Brinks truck for Jay White, I wouldn't be mad at it. I think it makes a lot of sense for him to be there.
The Brink trucks.
I mean, Cyrus, he's won the IWGP Heavyweight title.
Yeah. No, I get the resume, and I totally agree as well. I would love to see Jay White in NXT. He would definitely spice it up. And I was on Instagram, and Karrion Kross looked fine to me. that man was in Cancun doing dives. So
I mean, and just think about the age in NXT right now, or WWE in general.
Mm-hmm.
They're all 35 and up. Keith Lee was like 35. Karrion Kross is damn near 40. Finn is 40. Kyle O'Reilly, I think, is in his early 30s.
Mm-hmm. Jay White is a 28.
He's 28. Kyle O'Reilly is 33.
His birthday was like 2 weeks ago.
You need young people on your roster like that. You need that. Why not? He's got the look, man. I'm telling you, like his resume speaks for itself, bro. He's the right height, the right size. He's like Finn's height. I mean, he's the type of guy that they really like to push anyway. He's won the heavyweight, he's won the Intercontinental, and he's won the U.S. Championship. What is there left for him to do at New Japan?
the weak ass tag belt.
He's won everything. He's done it all. Like, I'm not mad at it. And you know what? We gotta, even though he didn't win the G1, I'm willing to say we gotta put his rafter up there, or his jersey in the rafters, right up there in the rafters. Who would you say is your MVP this year? Before we get out of here, and who would you say is kind of like the guy who kind of you had to, you couldn't miss a single match from him this year. He had to, be seen to be believed during the G1 this year.
to see it, to believe it. Shit. Taichi, man. When I say positive things about Taichi, and people are just like, "Ew, you mean
MVP?"
That? Oh, as my MVP, shit, Shingo for sure. Must see is Taichi though.
Yeah, must see. I'd say must see for me is Jay White this year, but my MVP is Ibushi. Undoubtedly, he had the best. He had the best. The best win-loss record on the G1 this year. To me, when we looked at our match ratings yesterday, he had the best. He had the most matches of anyone else on that list, and I think
four.
Exactly. Like he was racking up 4-star matches. He had the most main events, and I think again, it's perception. Well, Ospreay only had one main event this whole G1, and we damn near forgot that he had a lot of the matches that he did because they happened so early. Yeah. So had he had more main events, I feel like I probably would have put Ospreay up in that conversation. But bar none, Ibushi just had the best matches against Shingo. He had the best matches against Suzuki. He had the best matches against Shingo, all of that stuff. The Taichi, your mileage may vary there, but he had the best matches with everyone on his block. So it's a no-brainer that he'd be up there for us.
Any fivers in your book?
No
fivers in tournament. Okay.
No fivers.
I don't
whatsoever.
I don't have any either.
It's hard.
There's some that cut it close.
It's hard to. I think the one that cut it close for me would have been. What was the one that cut it close to a 5 for me? What really messed everything up was them airing after TakeOver 31. I think Ospreay and Balor really messed it up for a lot of these matches on this card. Like, it was really tough for them to beat that.
Mm-hmm.
Ibushi Shingo came close. Okada Shingo came close to a 5 for me. I went 4 and 4.
That is, I would say that as well. I really did like the Shingo match a lot. The Shingo and Okada match. Yeah,
those are the ones that came close. So. Yeah, we've come to the end, Cyrus. We have to put another G1 in the books. Thank you all for listening to the G Show this season. We really appreciate you guys listening to the show every single, week and wanting to hear what our thoughts were and wanting to hear what matches to watch. I really appreciate that. Like, it made it easier for me to watch the matches knowing that you guys really like leaned on us to let you guys know what was worth watching, what wasn't worth watching. Like, it made me feel really good.
Yeah, same. Just people just asking like, hey, do you guys know what's like must watch? Because I don't want to watch all this. And I was just like, I watched all of it, sadly, but I got you, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Like, thank you all. And that's for like Jeff J, that's Logan, everybody that really like tapped in with us this year. We're going to try and I want to try and do more. I want to try and do more stuff with New Japan. Like I want to review the Power Struggle card, so maybe we'll be back and we'll do little one-off episodes, and we'll have to give it its own name, its own branding or whatever. But we'll definitely be back talking more New Japan with you guys. Thank you all for listening to the G Show. Please follow us on Twitter. Our new account is booming. It's at the A Show RNC. We have new content for you there every single day. Please subscribe to us on iTunes, you subscribe to us on Spotify, listen to us anywhere you listen to your podcast. Of course, we have shows like the G Show, the A Show, as well as Spot Callers, which we're going to have our episode on Victory Road 2011 dropping very imminently. We're going to probably record that this week, right, Cyrus?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to play this week.
I rewatched the 3 matches that I felt that were really good. And I'm not watching anything else.
So we're gonna have that episode to you out before Halloween. So that's gonna be your spooky listen to before this month is up. We also have the Rewriters Room as well as the War Report. So thank you all for listening to the G Show. For Cyrus, I am Justin. Please be safe out there, and we'll see you later.